I talk to so many people that quit after 60 days, that quit after 90 days, that quit after a year, that quit after 2 years because their dream hasn't come to fruition, okay? I talk to so many people that look for the instant gratification. You walk in the door of your job and you think that you should have the title that you want on day one, or maybe even you're even a year in. You might think that you should have the title or this role, and maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But have you been really working the ground? Have you been really watering your bamboo every single day with positivity? Have you been watering your bamboo every single day with intention, with belief that you know it's going to crack through? That's the biggest separator I've ever seen between those who are successful and those who are not, is the ones who are willing to water the bamboo. It is Sunday morning, as of the time I'm recording this beautiful, amazing blue sky day here in Oregon in spring. And this right here, y'all, this right here is why we live in Oregon. Not the only reason, but one of the main reasons is spring, summer, fall is the most amazing here in Oregon ever. No humidity, just crazy beautiful weather. It's almost like driving through Ireland right now, the green hills, all kinds of things like that. So grateful. And also crazy excited about all of you that are going to be coming out to Carrot Camp in about a month from the time I'm recording this. Our May Carrot Camp is sold out. We have amazing investors and some agent investors in there as well, coming to join us for 2 days out here in Oregon at Carrot HQ. And we're going to hopefully change some lives, change some businesses, change the way people think about business and life, and really give you some frameworks that I'm using internally to really focus on priority better, to really focus on driving mission, driving purpose, driving profits more. So if you're interested in Carrot Camp, come check it out at carrotcamp.com. Next one will be in September. But the reason I'm recording this one, this is a Trevor Truck Talk. I'm driving into church right now. My wife and I were at a charity auction last night for our kids' school, and so grateful there too. We were able to help build some classrooms at the school. They're getting a new school, and in order to get the new school, they need to fund the classroom. So we were able to fund the classroom, at least one of the classrooms, out of our Carrot Giving program this year, which I'm so grateful for. So thank you guys for being a part of that and really helping to every single dollar that you invest in your Carrot membership goes back in some way, shape, or form to really amplify our core values. In this case, helping to build a classroom for this amazing school that we're a part of. But I want to talk about a concept called watering the bamboo. And every single morning I wake up and I turn on some sort of motivational video or audio. And one little trick that I've got is if you play enough videos on YouTube that are around a certain genre, the YouTube starts to curate your homepage. And my homepage is pretty much all Tony Robbins type stuff and teenage girl, like teeny bopper videos, because my daughters will pull up my cell phone and watch the videos. So I've got to kind of sift through those. But one this morning that popped up on my YouTube feed was one from Tony Robbins. I started listening to it, and it always helps me get my mindset right. I put my AirPods in when I'm getting up in the morning. I dial in some motivational and just some things that get my mindset right. Because you can wake up in the morning sometimes and not be focused on the important things. You can wake up in the morning sometimes because you didn't close down your day well the day before, and there's negative thoughts in your mind. Or even worse is there's no thoughts in your mind. You're just kind of on autopilot, waking up, going through your morning routine on autopilot, in no way, shape, or form excited about what you're going to do that day. That's even worse, I feel, than negative thoughts. So this morning I listened to one, then it flipped into a Les Brown audio. And Les Brown brought up a concept that literally this morning I've just been diving into for about 2 to 3 hours. My wife went in to get a little bit of work done. She only works a couple days a week. She is a medical professional, and she had to get caught up on a couple things. And then my kids spent the night at a friend's house, so my wife and I could have that date night last night. So I've been alone all morning this morning. And I want to talk to you about this concept of watering your bamboo, okay? So there's lots of different types of bamboo. There's hundreds of different species of bamboo. There's the common bamboo that most of us see and are used to, which is, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 inches in diameter. It grows all over people's yards, kind of this invasive thing that takes over, right? But there's something called giant bamboo, this Chinese bamboo. And with Chinese bamboo, the amazing thing about it is this. And if you think about the persistence and belief that it takes to actually see it through to grow an amazing crop of this giant Chinese bamboo, it's amazing. There's so many parallels that happen within our own lives. So this Chinese bamboo, you're going to plant that seed in the ground, and it requires so much resources. It requires you to water it every single day to keep the seed moist and to really help it to germinate. And after 1 year, the result that you're going to see after watering that is nothing above the ground anyway. You're not going to see anything above the ground at all. And you're going to keep on watering that thing every single day. And after 2 years, what do you see? You see nothing. The thing still hasn't sprouted above the ground yet. You keep on watering every single day that Chinese bamboo. And after 3 years, what do you see? You see nothing once again. Nothing has broached the surface of the soil yet. And sometimes it can take 4 to 5 years of watering that bamboo every single day before the bamboo will actually sprout above the surface. Now, this is where the amazing thing happens, okay? Once that Chinese bamboo sprouts above the surface, it only takes about 45 to 60 days for that bamboo to grow to be 90 feet tall. Okay, and I researched this morning. I thought, is that just a story? Is that just something that a motivational speaker guy said to make people resonate with it and they're not going to go research it? I researched it. That's the way that my mind works. And it's true. This giant bamboo can take between 3 to 5 years of persistently caring for the seed, persistently watering it every single day for it to finally germinate and break the surface. But when it does break the surface, y'all, only 45 to 60 days is all it takes to grow 90 feet tall. Okay, and that's not the most amazing thing about it. That's crazy. But one of the most amazing things about it is the entire time that you're watering it, the root system is starting to really take shape. The entire time you're watering it, the root system is branching out, and the root system itself can grow 90 feet broad. Like it can grow, not 90 feet, 100 yards wide. So while you're watering this thing, you don't see anything sprouting up above the surface. And everyone around you, if you're a farmer and the other people around you have not experienced your giant bamboo farming, then they're looking at you going, why are you doing this? You're putting so much darn work into this little seed. It's not doing anything. Look at the fruit of your labor. Look at what has come of all this work. Look at what has come of all this focus. Nothing at all. But what's happening beneath the surface is the root system is branching out 100 yards in either direction. It's getting ready to bust this giant crop. And then after the 3 to 5 years, up sprouts the darn thing, and it grows 90 feet tall in 60 days. Now, how does this really parallel? How does this parallel, and why the heck am I talking about bamboo farming on a Sunday morning driving into town to grab my kids before church? It's because we all put so much effort. Actually, let me reverse this. Okay, we don't all put so much effort. I talk to so many people that quit after 60 days, that quit after 90 days, that quit after a year, that quit after 2 years because their dream hasn't come to fruition, okay? I talk to so many people that look for the instant gratification. You walk in the door of your job and you think that you should have the title that you want on day one, and you just got there day one, or maybe even you're even a year in. And you might think that you should have the title or this role, and maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But have you been really working the ground? Have you been really watering your bamboo every single day with positivity? Have you been watering your bamboo every single day with intention, with belief that you know it's going to crack through? That's the biggest separator I've ever seen between those who are successful and those who are not, is the ones who are willing to water the bamboo. The ones who are not willing to water the bamboo end up going and planting another crop. It might be a quicker crop to grow. Weeds are really quick to grow. You know, weeds grow really fast. Weeds grow fast in places you don't want them to grow. Weeds grow unintentionally in our garden beds. We have to weed the weeds out, right? We have to take those things out. So yes, you can find easier crops, you can find quicker crops, but are those crops going to be the worthy ones? When giant bamboo grows that tall, that crop is something that can really serve and fuel the family that grew. There's so many things they're able to do with that giant bamboo. They're able to make paper out of that giant bamboo. They're able to do all kinds of things with that crop that can sustain and fuel that family. Okay, so are you planting weeds because they're quick? It's instant gratification. They might look a little bit pretty at the start, but they're going to be, they don't last very long. They wither away. Their root system doesn't go very deep, and it's easy to pull them and yank them out. Okay, or are you actually planting that giant bamboo and watering it every single day with intention, with belief. Another concept I want to throw at you is this, is when we start to look at success, and relating it back to this giant bamboo concept, the first thing that I had to do when I go back to my 2009, 10, 11, 12 period of my life, when I was making that massive transition, was I had to weed things out. I read the book, The Pumpkin Plan, and the Pumpkin Plan changed my life. The Pumpkin Plan talked about the way that these giant world record setting pumpkin farmers would grow these pumpkins. Is the first thing that they do is they would find the right seed. You can't find just any pumpkin seed to grow a giant pumpkin. The same thing with the giant Chinese bamboo. You can't just grab any old bamboo seed and grow that giant crop. It's got to be the right one. That's your idea. That's your belief in the idea. And then the next thing is you got to water the heck out of that pumpkin seed. And eventually it's going to sprout a lot quicker than bamboo, but it's going to sprout and it's going to come above the surface, and there's going to be a bunch of leaves, and there's going to be a few different pumpkins growing off of that vine, and it's going to look amazing. But eventually the giant pumpkin farmer starts to see promise in 1, 2, 3 of those pumpkin sprouts, and it says, okay, cool, I'm just going to focus on those. I'm going to trim off every other thing on this entire pumpkin vine, and just put all of the resources, all of the nutrients towards those 3. It's going to hack off every single leaf, every single other pumpkin sprout, and it's just going to leave the 3. It's going to keep watering. Then eventually one of those pumpkins is going to see have more potential. That farmer's then going to cut off the other 2 until all that's left in this vine is just one pumpkin, no leaves, no other pumpkin sprouts. The farmer just continuously, ruthlessly weeds around that and focuses on the one pumpkin. They continue to water. And in that last week, just like the giant bamboo, the farmers say that you can almost physically see the pumpkin growing that last week. Okay, it just blows up because they were able to weed and focus in on just one thing. Okay, and that's one mistake a lot of us make, is when we're trying to be successful, we get distracted by all these different pumpkins on the vine. There's 14 different pumpkins on the vine. They all look like they can be good, so let's put all these resources in all of them. But what happens is when we spread our resources thin, when we spread our time thin, when we spread our focus thin, when we spread our belief and our positivity thin into too many different things, we can get discouraged because none of them grow into what we hoped it would. There are all these little tiny pumpkins out there that are causing all this distraction. So when I was in that 2010, 11, 12 phase and I read that book, I realized, man, I've got to get to weeding. I've got to get to cutting and trimming this pumpkin vine. I've got to get rid of the distractions, get rid of these 3 or 4 businesses that I think I'm cool because I have all these businesses going. But at the end of the day, I'm not focusing my full energy and belief on any one of them to really succeed, okay? And so I trimmed off every single thing, and I had just one thing. I had some consulting revenue coming in just to pay the bills. It's not what I wanted to do long term. I had a little bit of real estate income coming in, but most of that wasn't really very big at all, because it's kind of like asset rich, cash poor at that time, right? Where the real estate looks amazing, but it's not making me a lot of money on a monthly basis. And I said, what's my one pumpkin I'm going to focus in on? And that became an idea that became Carrot. Okay, and with Carrot, y'all, a lot of people might not realize this. You see the success we're having now. One of the fastest growing companies in America, the fastest growing software company in Oregon. It's being transparent here, bringing in millions and millions and millions of revenue. We'll probably crack 8 figures next year. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. But the thing is, we didn't catch momentum until 3 years in. We watered that bamboo for 3 years before any real traction happened. We're 5.5 years in now. And so while everyone sees the success happened over a 3-year period. And actually, you could even say it was longer than that, because before Carrot, there was the precursor to Carrot, which was another 2 to 3 years before that. So really, it was 5 to 6 years, just like the bamboo. 5 to 6 years that I was watering this thing, watering this idea, watering the business. I didn't take any money out of the business for almost 2 years of the company. Okay, I didn't take any money out. People were looking at me going, why did you cut yourself out of this other business that was making you 6 figures a year? And what is this thing you're working on now? It's like, you're not making any money from it in your bank. There's money coming in. What's going on? And I had a belief. I knew that seed that I planted was planted with intention, Okay, I created non-negotiables. These non-negotiables are what guided me in creating that business. That was my seed. I ensured that this new business model was built off of core values and non-negotiables. That was my seed. Okay, it was a good seed, and I was confident that that seed, if it was able to grow right, it would actually provide me what I was wanting it to provide. It would actually provide me a better platform and more consistent income and a better way to really grow consistency and predictability. Okay, that was the seed, and then I watered it every single day for 3 years. And then finally I said, you know what, I should probably pay myself a little bit. And now I'm doing pretty darn good. So what in your life are you not watering enough? Are you watering the bamboo? Or are you switching and looking at the weeds? Here's what I want to challenge you with doing. Is in order to be successful in life and business and really chase the dreams that you've got, you need to do these 3 things. You need to weed, you need to seed, and you need to feed. Okay? You need to weed, you need to seed, and you need to feed. I'm going up this mountain, all these cracks going on my truck right now, picking up the kids. You need to weed, you need to seed, you need to feed. So what is the weeding? Going back to the pumpkin plan. Okay, you need to weed out all of those distractions. You need to weed out the negative thoughts. Go back to my Ants in the Pants podcast and weed out those automatic negative thoughts and put in every single day those positive, aspirational new thoughts, just like I did today with the Tony Robbins video that led to the Les Brown's video that led to this concept of water the bamboo. You need to weed, then you need to seed, okay? You need to make sure that you're planting a good seed. How do you plant a good seed? You plant a good seed based on really creating a crystal clear vision of what you want to grow. Okay, if I want to grow an amazing crop of 90-foot tall giant bamboo, I've got to make sure I'm very clear that that's the case. Otherwise, I'm just going to go to the store and get bamboo seed. And the bamboo seed might be that, or it might be something else. So you've got to be crazy clear about what you're wanting to grow. For me with Carrot, that was my non-negotiables. That was my core values. I wrote those down before we started the company because I said, I want to be intentional with this. It's not just about making money. Just like with the bamboo, it's not just about growing bamboo. It's about growing giant bamboo that will provide this exact crop. Okay, with the business, it wasn't just about making money. It just wasn't just about running away from a business that I had grown resentful for. It was about growing a business with intention that did very specific things in my life. Okay, that was my seed. Okay, then it was feed. Okay, then it's waking up every single day and getting that the positive aspirational new thoughts in your mind. Waking up every single day and creating a plan with intention, making sure that you're working on the things that are important and you're actually working on those things, not saying you're working on them and posting things on Facebook about grinding, but you're not really working on them. Okay, waking up every single day and proving that people want the product. Waking up every single day and going out there and talking to people, building a network of people, adding value to people. Okay, continuing to test new things. If this thing doesn't work, shift and try something else after you've really given that a go. But most people shift and try something else way before they've ever given it a full go. Okay, go find the experts who are really good at that. Eliminate the mindsets of this doesn't work, because if anyone has ever done that thing and made it work before you, it works. You just need to find the way to make it work. Okay, if you're a Carrot customer and you hear all these people being successful with Carrot through the case studies, through Google pay-per-click or through SEO or through whatever, it doesn't matter your scenario. It doesn't matter your situation. It doesn't matter the city you're in, how big or how small it is. It doesn't matter your budget. You can make it work. Other people just like you in your exact same scenario have made it work. And you can too. The only thing that's holding you back from doing that is your mindset and believing that you can. And you're quitting way too early. You're putting way too many limiting beliefs in front of your mindset. And you're stopping before you give it a chance to work. Okay? If it hasn't worked yet, reach out to us and say, I've tried these things. What do I do next? And we'll tell you exactly what you need to do next. If it still hasn't worked, I've tried these things. What do I do next? And we'll tell you exactly what you need to do next. And you will succeed. Okay, so that's how you feed. You feed. And what most people do is they feed for a little bit of time and then they go over to a different crop and water it because that one hadn't sprouted yet. Can you imagine if you're growing this giant Chinese bamboo and you started watering that crop, and after 6 weeks, after 6 months, after 1 year, it didn't sprout up. But you know that the farmer across the way, he'd been growing the same crop. His land looks similar to yours. You look similar to him or her. Okay, they've got this big crop. You know it works. Okay, so why would it make sense to stop at year 1 or even year 2 or month 16 or month 18 and stop watering that crop when you know that it works because you've seen someone in your similar situation do it? Why would you stop? The only reason you would stop is probably because you don't believe in yourself or you're not patient enough, or both. Grow that patience. Okay, so in that time period, if you're growing giant bamboo and you can't wait 5 years, how do you make sure that you're also making ends meet before that 5 years is up? Well, grow that bamboo crop, okay, because you know that's going to be the big one. That's going to take time, but it's going to build momentum and it's going to sprout really, really fast in year 3, 4, or 5. But get another valuable crop in the short term going too. You know, maybe you're going to plant whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Maybe you're going to plant something else in the short term. It's herbs. You're going to plant herbs and basil and whatever, and you're going to take it off and you're going to dry it and you're going to sell that. Okay, that's a lot quicker crop. It's not going to be as big, okay, but it's a lot quicker. You can get some things coming in right away. So think about that in your business. I got to hop in and pick up my kids. Water the bamboo, y'all. Weed, seed, and feed. Weed, seed, and feed. Go back and listen to this episode 2, 3, 4 times. And I know that you can 100% get where you want to go. The problem most people are having is they're not patient enough to water the bamboo every single day. They're not patient enough to grow something with massive, amazing, strong roots. They're building things with shallow roots, things that won't last very long, things that will wither away, things that when the market changes or your circumstances change, or if your motivation changes, that business is going to just flutter away into the ether. Okay? Water every single day, weed the crap out of your life, and remove the negativity and stick through it long enough to see it work, all right? So y'all, go to iTunes, go to Spotify, go to wherever the heck you're listening to this, and leave a review. Those reviews, it's been so cool. I mentioned it earlier, but those reviews are really what help us to get this podcast into more people's hands, into more people's ears, into more people's minds, and hopefully shifting some things. And man, this has been so much fun to me. When I started this podcast, 2.5 years ago now, all that I expected was for this to be an outlet for me to just kind of document some of my thought process, document some things that I've been going through and some processes and learnings along the way, right? But then I keep on getting messages from people. I keep on seeing iTunes reviews about the impact that this is having on many of you. I get Instagram messages. Go follow me on Instagram. I document pretty much every day of what I do, my workouts. I document my routines, my morning routines, kind of what we're doing throughout the day. My Instagram, go follow me on Instagram, Trevor.Mauch, M-A-U-C-H, so Trevor.Mauch. But here's what I want you to do. Reach out to me. If you're struggling and you're in that spot where you've been watering the bamboo and you're not seeing it sprout, reach out to me on Instagram. Let me know what you've been doing, where you're struggling, and I'd love to help you out, okay? If you're seeing wins, if you've been watering, you're seeing that crop sprout and you're seeing the fruits of your labor, let me know that. I want to celebrate it with you. Robert Grand out of Eugene, to kind of call you out here, man. He sent me a really good thread of Instagram messages there, some DMs just the last couple of weeks, and it's cool because I remember him reaching out probably a year ago, and we were connecting there on Instagram DM. He was talking about possibly coming aboard Carrot. He started something called the Impact Club with my buddy Ryan Fletcher there in Eugene, where they donated a bunch of money to charity. I supported his Impact Club. He ended up joining Carrot. He's a real estate agent, has been for years, sold over, 300 homes in the last few years. Then he said, you know what, I want to really simplify life and really go after where the real money is, but also just do something he's more passionate about and has more energy towards. And so he dove into real estate investing and DM'd me again and said, hey, I'm looking at doing this. Is this what I should do? And I said, don't do that, do this. And he did the thing that we guided him towards. And he messaged me just this past week. He said, man, this is a headline for you. And I'll read off the headline in another podcast episode. Maybe have Robert on an episode of the Carrot Cast once he closes this deal. But he basically said, you know, he was skeptical at first. He held off. He didn't do it. Then he dove in, did exactly what we told him to do. And he's got a deal of these, looks like he's set to close for over $53,000 on his very first Carrot profit deal in small town Oregon. Big town in Oregon, but small town compared to others in Eugene. And that's actually Oak Ridge is where he got the deal. But he got it through just reaching out to me on DM, sharing his wins, sharing his struggles, sharing praise for the podcast and other things. It pumps me up, y'all. Okay, go follow me on Instagram, Trevor.Mauch. Water that bamboo, and then post a rating review, 5 stars, in iTunes, and let us know how we're doing. All right, have an amazing rest of the week. Grateful for you. We'll talk soon.